Rain drizzled endlessly across the city skyline, tracing silver lines down the glass walls of a towering corporate giant. Inside, the building gleamed with power, success, and silence. Long after the executives had left, a lone man pushed his cleaning cart through the empty corridors. His uniform was faded, his hands calloused, but his eyes carried a quiet warmth the walls could never reflect. His name was Aaron Blake, a single father raising his 7-year-old daughter, Maya, a bright, curly-haired girl whose laughter was his reason to breathe. Every morning before dawn, he packed her lunch, kissed her forehead, and caught the first bus to work, where he scrubbed marble floors for people who barely noticed he existed. But Aaron carried a secret no one in that building knew. Every month, half of his humble paycheck went to a small orphanage across town, the very place that once saved his life. As a child, he'd been one of those orphans. They fed him, clothed him, and gave him hope when the world turned away. Now, he was repaying that kindness, quietly, faithfully, without expecting anything in return. Whenever Maya asked, "Daddy, why do we help others when we don't have much?" Aaron would smile and whisper, "Because once someone helped me." On the top floor of that same building sat Evelyn Carter, the company's CEO. Brilliant, respected, and feared. Her empire was built on precision and profit. To most, she was untouchable. But behind her success was a loneliness she never admitted. Her world sparkled, yet her heart had grown dim. One early morning, fate intertwined their paths. Evelyn arrived earlier than usual. As she stepped into the quiet lobby, she spotted Aaron, kneeling on the floor, gently scrubbing a coffee stain. Something about his calm focus made her pause. She noticed the limp in his step, the exhaustion in his eyes, and a small photo of a little girl taped to his cleaning cart. Over the following weeks, Evelyn saw him more often, always working, always kind, never complaining. One evening, as she prepared to leave, she saw Aaron at the front entrance, handing an envelope to a nun. His head was bowed, his expression humble. Evelyn's curiosity stirred. Later, unable to forget what she saw, she asked her assistant to review the janitorial payroll records. What she found stunned her. Every month, Aaron donated half his earnings directly to an orphanage. No one had asked him to. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It was pure, quiet generosity. That night, Evelyn sat in her luxurious penthouse, gazing out over the glittering city lights. But all she could see was Aaron, the man with nothing, who still gave everything. The contrast hit her harder than any business loss. She, who had everything, had forgotten what it meant to give. The next morning, she drove to the address from his file, a small, worn-down orphanage filled with laughter and love. A nun greeted her warmly, saying, "Mr. Blake has been our guardian angel for years. He never wants recognition, just hopes the children feel loved." Evelyn felt her throat tighten as tears filled her eyes. Back at the office, she called Aaron into her office. He looked nervous, cap in hand. For a long moment, she simply stared at him before asking softly, "Why do you do it?" Aaron hesitated, then replied, "Because I know what it's like to go to bed hungry, ma'am. Because I can't forget the faces of the kids still waiting for help. And because I want my daughter to grow up believing that kindness matters more than comfort." Evelyn's heart cracked open that day. That night, she stood before her reflection, no longer just a CEO, but a woman reminded of what truly mattered. The following week, Evelyn announced a new foundation under her company's name, the Blake Promise Fund, dedicated to supporting orphans and single parents struggling to rebuild their lives. When Aaron heard the news, his eyes welled with disbelief. During a company meeting, Evelyn stood before hundreds of employees and said, "This man reminded me that true success isn't measured by profit, but by purpose." She thanked Aaron publicly, her voice trembling with sincerity. Later, she visited the orphanage again, bringing supplies, funding repairs, and ensuring no child there went hungry again. As she walked through the bright rooms filled with laughter, she found Aaron sweeping quietly in the corner. She smiled and said softly, "You've done more for this world than you realize." He smiled back shyly and whispered, "We all just do what we can, ma'am." From that day forward, Evelyn Carter led differently, not just as a CEO, but as a human being. She listened more, cared more, gave more. And every time she passed Erin in the hallway, she didn't see a janitor anymore. She saw a teacher, a reminder that compassion is the greatest form of leadership. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to HOA Chronicles. Because stories like this remind us that true wealth is measured not by what we keep, but by what we give.